I'm Alan Tracy.
And we are frozen popsicles here for you today. Since it has been like in the negatives, probably. I mean, honest to God, it feels like it's been weeks. I know it's only been like a week, but it feels like it's been just forever. And I don't really understand how. And there's still more to come, which is the worst part. But we are here. We're getting through it.
It's really bad when you think like 20s is really high and warm.
Seriously, I'm looking forward to, I think it's supposed to be 30 in like a week or a week and a half or something, and I am so excited for it.
And only -4 on the low.
Yeah. Like, I am thrilled for that to happen. I've only gone out a couple times since the weather's been like this, but man, it's been awful. Like, your face just fucking like hurts immediately. It's terrible.
Yeah, thank goodness for face coverings.
Yeah, seriously. Like, if nothing else, that's been really nice.
Yeah. It's like...
Although, I did just get glasses this week.
Oh, yeah.
Which is good, because I need them. Like, whatever. Nah, I'm getting old. But every time we go into if we go to, like, Target to pick up groceries or something, I have to, like, put my glasses on the top of my head so I can't see anyway, because otherwise I'm fogging up my glasses because of my mask.
Welcome to my world, Rohana.
Yeah. Like, this is something I did not plan out ahead of time.
Yeah, I always get the masks with that, like, wrap around the head instead of the ears, because their glasses fall off if they're, like, on the ear, like, bands. And yeah. I need to see more than I need to,
Right. It's a debacle.
I think, I don't know, like, with the weather and everything, we've obviously been staying in a lot, which is also good. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I did. I was really disappointed, to be totally honest. So I just, like, I hate Tom Brady. And I know that a lot of people love him and think he's the GOAT and all this kind of stuff. And that's great. I just don't like him.
You don't?
In general. Like, just in general. And I like, to me, rooting for him is sort of like rooting for the Yankees. And at this point, I can't do it. So that's, yeah, he is what he is. But so I was really, and I love Mahomes. So I was so hoping for at least, like, a good game, like a really close, fun, exciting, like, high-scoring game. It was so disappointing.
Well, I didn't watch it. I just watched the halftime show, really, because I like The Weeknd. So.
I do, too.
Yeah.
I really like his music. I thought it was fascinating that he, like, put in a lot of his own money, like millions of his own money, just to, like, make the show what he really wanted it to be.
Right. And he made it for, like, the viewers at home, because he knew he would be at home.
Which is really cool.
And it was kind of strange seeing a semi-full stadium, if you will. I don't know. I couldn't quite tell.
I felt really uncomfortable with it. And and I understand that, like, a quarter of those people or a third of those people or something like that are vaccinated, they're healthcare workers, like, all this stuff. And I think that's great. Honestly, to me, they should have just left it at that. Like, vaccinated only, like, the healthcare workers that we're inviting locally only. Everybody else just has to stay home. Like, just stop. Like, I feel like we're so close and everyone's just going to ruin it. Yeah, so that made me a little uncomfortable, but at the same time, my opinion does not matter in that situation, so whatever.
Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't interested, because it's like, Mahomes won it last year. It's like, okay, Tom Brady's always been winning it, so okay.
Yeah.
I don't care. They're both super rich, and
I mean, yeah.
I don't really have a stake in these teams, so
right.
my interest is very low.
That makes sense.
Plus, the whole LA Tampa Bay thing, like in every league this year, was like either LA or Tampa Bay won the championships.
Which is fascinating. I didn't realize that. I hadn't thought of that until you pointed it out.
Yeah. So what was it? The NHL first, the Lightning won for Tampa Bay.
Yep.
And then MLB was the Dodgers. NBA
Yep.
was the Lakers, and now
Yep.
Tampa Bay again
Yeah.
for the NFL.
Yeah.
So I think the NBA Finals is next.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure, or hockey, one of those two.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you got, LA or Tampa Bay? I guess it's only like one of those. I guess I could see the Kings and now the Lightning. I didn't realize they had a hockey team.
Yeah. I don't follow hockey as much as I once did.
Right, me neither.
So I'm not entirely sure. I would love for really any California team to make it, but
right.
yeah. I'm just gonna continue rooting for the Wild and see if miracles happen. You never know.
Last I heard, they were doing pretty good with the new players and everything. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But the Timberwolves, not so much.
The poor Wolves.
Always getting the number one pick.
Always managing to just screw it up.
Well, Towns didn't play for like a month, so...
Right. Which, I mean, is understandable. The poor man had COVID, and it has not done well for his family. So I don't blame him being as absolutely careful and cautious about that as possible.
Right, because there was that, but then there was also the injury before that, so...
Right. Yeah. So the poor man needed some time, and I hope he didn't rush back, to be honest. But yeah, the Timberwolves are on the struggle bus, as they normally are. And unfortunately, the Warriors are the same.
They're doing okay, you know.
Yeah, but it's not like the Warriors. Like, it's not what they were.
Yeah,
and that's
no
my
Thompson.
expectation at this point.
Well,
Yeah, I feel awful for that poor man.
Yeah, 2 years out.
So rough. Especially, like, right as he was about to start coming back.
Yeah.
And, oh, man, that poor guy.
We have to get Wiggins. No, we don't. Stop it.
Oh, man.
Like, he'll step up occasionally and be like, wow, look at that. And then it's like,
Yeah.
where'd he go?
Right,
Where is
yeah.
he?
Man, it's so rough.
Yeah, well, it's a new team, so...
Yeah.
You get
I'll get there.
Wiseman instead of Durant. You get Wiggins instead of Thompson. So it's like, yeah, this is like the Wolves.
Yeah, exactly. They just got to work their way back up.
Yeah,
They can do it.
yeah. Well, we kind of covered all the main banter from Minnesota. How's that weather doing? How about those Timberwolves? How about
Seriously, all of the common, the boxes
Small
to
talk.
check off. Yes, exactly. It's what we're good at. Just kidding. We're terrible at small talk. But today we're going to chat really about, I mean, what this podcast is really about. And it's, Minnesota and movies. And movies made in Minnesota. What? I know we haven't really talked about that a whole lot lately.
yeah.
And I think we kind of figured out why as we were putting this together. There's not a ton of, like, outside of, our interviews with all of our amazing listeners who, like, are part of films happening here. But when we're looking at, like, the big productions that come here, that obviously stopped a good while ago. And so this list is pretty short.
Right.
Which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's amazing because so many films are set in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But they aren't filmed here, so...
Like Juno. I'm upset about that now that we realize that. Like,
Yeah.
It was written here, it was set here, let's go to Vancouver. What?
Yeah, I mean, there's that. There was Gran Torino that was filmed in Michigan, and what was the other one that was pretty recent? Oh, there was like a bunch of series. Like I think The C Word was one that was set in like Metro Twin Cities.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
It's so upsetting.
Anyways, yeah, but we'll do this once, so we don't have to do it again. One and done. That's really it. No, I'm just kidding.
There were some pretty classic films and fun films that were made here. So we wanted to check off at least our top 10, if you will, of the big productions. And I feel like there's like two that should really be first. Well, yeah. You know, let's start with Purple Rain. Purple Rain. I haven't seen it. I have been just cut down for not having seen this, and I understand that. I understand why. It is on my list. I will be seeing it. I just haven't done it yet. But naturally, you know, Prince from Minnesota, loved Minnesota, lived in Minnesota.
Is he?
No, Alan. He's from Vancouver.
Yeah, that's right. The Canadian guy.
Yeah, so he actually wrote it in Vancouver. It's about Vancouver, but he made it here. Yeah. That's what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He made Canada famous. He put them on the map. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so have you seen Purple Rain?
I have.
What are your thoughts, Mr. Minnesotan?
I think it's very interesting because it's like I don't know all the like what was going on at the time, like if there's any certain commentary or like rivalries between bands and such, and so I'm missing some context, but overall I like the film. It finishes well. It has that line from Chappelle's Show about like purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Yes.
And I was so surprised by that because I was like, what? Isn't that like a joke?
Nope.
And apparently he says it very seriously. I don't know why, but
because that's his home, Alan, and he loves it.
Yeah. Lake Minnetonka.
Which, yeah, I lived in Minnetonka for a while, and the moment that I, like, that's when the topic of me not having seen it became, like, a big issue in our household, and so I liked that little connection. I was like, well, I suppose I do live in Minnetonka. I should probably see this.
Yeah. It's nice to see, like, parts where like First Avenue and
yes,
things like that.
I miss First Avenue.
Yeah, hopefully we'll all be able to head out there soonly. Shortly.
Yeah, no kidding. So Purple Rain is probably like the most, I would think at least, the most famous movie about Minnesota, like that. Yeah, you know, like that's like the Minnesota movie.
Here's the kicker: like the year that Prince died, I was at Cannes and their film festival in France, and they were going to show it as like a movie on the beach for free for the public, but it rained. It rained out on Purple Rain.
On Purple Rain.
It was like, well, why not?
Right, yeah. That is really cool, though. What an awesome idea.
Yeah, because it went to Cannes originally. It's one of the Cannes classics. So it was part of that festival.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
I saw his, like, handprints and signature into the sidewalk thing.
Wow.
That they did back then. They don't. I don't think they do that anymore. But yeah, his stuff was there. So it was like Jungle Fever, Spike Lee, all that.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So, what is your next, like, favorite Minnesota-made movie, Alan?
Ooh. Are you hinting at something?
No, I'm
Okay.
just genuinely asking. Yeah.
It's a toss-up. Gosh, I don't know. I really do like Grumpy Old Men.
I mean, who doesn't? Like, I don't
both of
think.
them.
Yeah. Like, I genuinely don't think I know anyone who doesn't love those movies.
Right.
I mean, not to the point where you're watching it all the time, but for Pete's sake, who hasn't watched those movies and been, like, entertained?
Mm-hmm.
It's Jack Lemmon. It's Walter Matthau. Like, let's be real here.
What
that
do you think?
that might actually be the first Minnesota movie movie made in or like based in Minnesota that I've ever seen or had ever seen.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. Mm-hmm.
I think, gosh, there's so many fun lines in there. And then, is it Meredith Burgess, too? Is that... I think it was the second one he was... Well, he was one of the older guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the days.
Mm-hmm.
When I think Grumpy Old Men were like one of the symbols of like of that time for films. Mm-hmm. Just during the 80s and 90s when we had incentives and
Right. Mm-hmm.
everyone was filming here. So
Yeah, it was a very, very small window. We got a lot of good ones.
yeah,
So what does that tie with for you? Grumpy Old Men and... I think I know what you're going to say.
it's kind of a three-way tie because I do like Mighty Ducks.
Okay. I have
on.
not seen that, but I can understand it.
You will? You will see that maybe?
No, absolutely not. I give you E.T., sir.
You did, yes. I don't get another say in that. It's
Yeah.
like any 80s movies from Alan is out.
I mean, most just like 80s movies that I haven't already seen, I'm pretty much like, no thank you on. Although they are making a new Mighty Ducks movie.
Uh-oh.
I think Emilio Estevez is in it, and Lauren Graham.
And they're filming it in Vancouver?
Are they?
I don't know. I assume so. They're stealing everything else we're making. If it's Minnesota.
I don't know. Maybe. That's a good...
I'm worried about that Prince film. You know?
What?
Just to back it up, like, remember we were talking about the Prince film they were going to make, the biopic?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they're going to film that in Canada, too.
But they can't, can they? Like, you really can't.
I don't know. We need
That
a
would be
place that
so
looks like
blasphemous.
First Ave, but isn't First Ave, because we don't get the money to film First Ave.
That would be just awful.
Yeah. Paisley Park is like some studio in California or something. I don't know.
How infuriating. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Because
I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, just to back it up to Purple Rain, just because of I'm really worried about that.
Have they started on that yet? I don't even...
I think they started writing. I don't know
Okay.
if they've worked out. So it could be like 8 or 9 years till it's made.
Right, yeah.
So-
Could be a while.
Or till it's out. Anyways, fast forwarding back to where we were.
So you had Grumpy Old Men,
Yep.
Mighty Ducks. Is it just Mighty Ducks like the first one, or is it like any of the other 67 that they made?
There's only 3 that I count. I don't know if they made anything else, but
Okay, the 3.
yeah. I liked the first and second one a lot.
Were they all made in Minnesota?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay, interesting.
Because I know one of my friends was an extra in Mighty Ducks 3,
Oh, nice.
and I think it was at like one of the universities in Northfield. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So there's that.
There's that. And what are those? You said it's a three-way tie.
Fargo.
Ooh, yeah. Yep.
That's completely Minnesota. You can tell. It's just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was like Minneapolis in the 90s.
It's so good. We actually just rewatched that not long ago. As we decided to start watching the series finally, which is also really good. Disappointing that is not made in Minnesota, but it is very good. But yeah, so we decided to rewatch the movie before we started it, and man, that film it's so well done. It's fucking creepy, but fantastic.
Right. It
I
kind
love
of is, for those who may have not seen it, because it, is an older film. If we have any listeners outside of Minnesota too,
Right.
it's a lot like No Country for Old Men, just in Minnesota. So
Ooh, see, that's good to know because I have not seen Old Country for Old Men or Country or Old Countries,
No.
whatever it is.
No Country for Old Men.
No Country for. Okay, there we go. Words are hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's good to know for me even.
Yeah, it's sort of like that. Not exactly, but in that vein.
Close enough.
That
Yeah.
that Cohen mood, that what they do with the characters and such. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of like intriguing, like just the things people are up to,
Right.
just like devious.
Oh, it's so fun to watch.
I think
so
it's
good.
fun. I'm gonna spoil. I don't care.
Do it.
Because in the movie, I think it's so strange when the guy's breaking into their house, and she's just like looking at him. Because he can't see her because of the reflection outside.
Right.
But then she's just like staring at him like a deer in the headlights, like. I'm like,
Yeah.
do something. Call someone. What are you doing?
Just
Call the police.
staring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
that's
I kind of get that because that was, some people just like, what is going on here?
that's a good point.
But yeah, those were pretty intense villains.
Yeah, they really were. And also, screw the spoiler thing. That movie is 25 years old. So, everyone, if you haven't seen it, first of all, go watch it. And I realize that I say that as someone who has already claimed to not see two of the movies we've talked about. I don't care. I will be a hypocrite. Go watch Fargo. What are you doing?
There was like a joke about in the commentary somewhere with Steve Buscemi and the Coens, like how many times they've killed Steve Buscemi in their films, and
Oh, really?
like how, like, I think it was based on certain films that they made, like how he keeps getting into like smaller and smaller pieces as he dies. Because like Big Lebowski, he's cremated, and
Oh, yeah. Yep.
like this, he's put through, the what have you. Is that like a log shredder? What is that?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I don't know the exact term of it, but yeah.
That's a good point, though.
Yeah. It's just kind of like,
Oh.
yeah. So,
Man, they've got some good movies, too. I'm just
Yeah.
looking at that list. I wish they made more of them here.
right. Like Burn After Reading. Why can't we get A-list stars in Minnesota like that?
Yeah.
So,
Even like Inside Llewyn Davis. God, I love that movie. I hadn't watched it for like I hadn't seen it until last year, I think, and then I was like, I love Oscar Isaac. Anyway, not made here, but it should have been.
how about you, Rahana? What do you got?
So I'm with you on the Fargo and the Grumpy Old Men. There's this movie, and I watched it like a long time ago, and I vaguely remember. I think I watched it on like, I can't remember if it was on Netflix or maybe it's on Amazon Prime, but it's called Beautiful Girls. And it's got, let me hold on, Beautiful Girls. Because I know that it has Natalie Portman when she was little, because it's also from 96. This is also a very fairly old movie, but it's also got like Matt Dillon. I think Rosie O'Donnell's in it. Michael Rappaport. Uma Thurman. Like, it's got a bunch of people. But it does take place, like, this New York guy comes back to his hometown for like a high school reunion and all of the stuff, and he's connecting with his friends and that kind of movie. But it's filmed here. Although I think it takes place in like, where is it, Massachusetts or something. But yeah, and little Natalie Portman is like his like 13-year-old little neighbor girl, and she's just awesome the way Natalie Portman is. But yeah, it's I do remember enjoying that movie. When I watched it, it was, I don't remember a ton of details, but I remember enjoying it. So yeah, that was one. That when I found out that it was made in Minnesota, I was pleasantly surprised. And I think that movie also has like a lot of cool like Minnesota, not like landmarks, but like it's shot at Bryant Lake Bowl. I believe there's some shots in Stillwater, which is really cool. Just a lot of really neat places throughout the cities. So it's fun to see all that too and recognize it.
Right. Now I want to see it for Bryant Lake Bowl since I've been there many times. So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So even if just for that, I mean, because you got to think, like, if people are going to film here, you've got to utilize, what makes like a lot of the really cool spots throughout the cities that make Minneapolis and St. Paul what it really is. Like, it's, yeah. So it's fun seeing a film actually do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put that on my queue.
Yeah. So there's that. And then this one's a little embarrassing, but I don't care. Drop Dead Gorgeous. I don't know if you remember that movie.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. So we used to watch that in high school all the time. A friend of mine like loves that movie. And so I used to watch it with him a bunch, but it takes place in Mount Rose, Minnesota, which is supposed to be a playoff of Rosemont. And it's like this like Miss America type pageant, but I think it's like Miss Minnesota. And it's just ridiculous, and it's sort of like Fargo. It's got some really thick stereotypical Minnesota accents, and I think one of the moms is named Loretta, which is funny because that's my mom's name. So then every time they say it with that stupid accent, I just like, because they like lay it on thick.
Right.
It's just so good. But it's a fun, silly movie. Kirsten Dunst is in it. Oh Lord, what is that woman's name? I can picture her. Amazing hair. I don't fucking know. Allison Janney is in it. A lot, like it's got a solid cast.
Right.
So it's pretty fun. Oh, Denise Richards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, her.
I like Denise Richards.
Yep. Amy Adams is in it. Who doesn't love Amy Adams? Brittany Murphy.
Right. Oh wow.
Yeah, like it's got a good cast. So that's a pretty fun one. Sort of making fun of Minnesota, but it's in a fun way. Also, and more so making fun of pageants.
Right.
So there's that. And then another film that I've seen that I think is just sort of like a classic Christmas film. I don't know if classic is the right word. It's a fun Christmas film.
Yeah.
is Jingle All the Way. That's probably the last Minnesota film that I can think of that I've really seen, like big production. But yeah, it's stupid. It's so stupid. Like we watched it a couple times this last Christmas, but fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad just being ridiculous, but it's fun. Right. And, in the spirit of Christmas. And I do love, again, that it takes place here and they really utilize the city and some landmarks and outside of, like, Mall of America, because, whatever. But, like, even just running throughout the city, you spot so many things that I think is just really cool. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah. I think, they were both... That and Mighty Ducks were filmed at the Mall of America. I think Mighty Ducks 2 was Mall of America. Because that's when they show them roller skating through, like, at that time, Camp Snoopy. And, now it's Nickelodeon Universe. So.
Okay, fun thing about that. I saw a meme the other day. This is totally random. I saw a meme the other day where it was... like a picture on top of somebody playing Uno, and they've got like 2 cards or something left, or 3 cards, and one of them is like a wild card, but it just says call it camp or like Nickelodeon World or whatever, or draw 20 cards or something like that. And then it just said like Minnesotans with like a handful of cards after that, because we refused to not call it Camp Snoopy. And it was funny. That's all. It's funnier if you see it, and I'm done talking now.
I'm laughing inside, Rahana.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. It really is funny.
Sure.
Sure it is.
Yeah, that's what memes do. They incite laughter occasionally.
They do, occasionally.
Yeah, we're just kind of glossing over the films first, and then we can kind of talk about locations, I suppose. Let's see. Oh, North Country.
Yeah. I didn't see that, but I want to.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Charlize Theron, of course.
Mostly just because it's made here. That's my draw.
Yeah, exactly.
But wasn't that, like, shot up in the Iron Ridge?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
Because I think it's based on, like, the mining, community.
That makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, so...
Makes sense.
That was filmed up north in North Country.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all those stereotypes, it's interesting because I never thought I spoke like so Minnesotan until I went to California.
Oh, yeah, they will point it out immediately.
Well, they all thought I was Canadian, so...
Yeah.
I was like, no, Minnesota, and then they... Of course, exaggerated because I say Minnesota because I say the O, right?
Yeah.
But it's like the O's are more pronounced.
Yes.
Even though I think I'm pronouncing them correctly.
Yeah. They're brutal about it out there. Anytime I would go back to visit my friends and family out there, it would be like nonstop the entire time. They would be making fun of how I say everything. Like, I'd be like, yeah, I know, we like went out on the boat on the lake or whatever this summer. And they'd be like, oh, you went out on the boat? I'm like, okay, yeah, let's just gloss over the fact that I'm telling you a fucking story. But like on top of that, and then by the time I would come back, I would have picked up my natural like California accent again. And so I would get back here, and then my friends here would make fun of me for talking like a fucking Californian and saying things like hecka cool. Because for a long time, that's what people said out there. Anyway, it was stupid. People are rude about accents.
Yeah.
I think that's the moral of my story. Don't be mean to people about accents.
So big, and it's who does accents really well from various regions. There's like a stand-up comedian that does that. Is it? Fred Armisen, I think he does that.
He's so talented.
Yeah. He like does that in his stand-up. He does every region, basically.
That's brilliant.
For one of his.
I'm going to YouTube that later.
Yeah. I think it's on Netflix, so.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Now we get into kind of more fun, independent-ish films. Mm-hmm. Two more on this list. Wilson. We'll say Wilson. Let's start there.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson, yes. Interesting film. I mainly watch it, of course, because it's like, oh, there are people in this I know.
Yeah, yep.
Like Rachel.
Who was our first guest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she's talking. She's talking to Woody Harrelson.
I can't even imagine, like, being able to, like, it's mind-blowing to me. That's so cool.
Yeah. And
so cool.
Then I recognized people in the background. I saw Bill Cooper in one shot. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, just a lot of people we know. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, so Laura Dern was here. Woody Harrelson was here.
Right.
It's like they were here.
It makes me sad that, like, they can be here for, I mean, probably at least a few weeks to film. Mm-hmm. I don't run into them once.
Right.
Like, that's what makes me think that I need to get a life, is because I don't run into the amazing, famous people that I look up to when they are in my home freaking town.
Yeah. That's so strange, too, because I always hear about it after the fact, or like while they're doing it, but it's like, well, where are they filming? It's like,
right. Mm-hmm.
Who's keeping the lid on this?
Exactly.
But then again, it is Minnesota, so it's like, well, we don't expect that so much, so.
We should, though. We should start expecting it.
Yeah, more expectations. It's the law of attraction. You expect something and then it shows up, you know.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah, so it's just kind of nice to see all the places and kind of figure out, oh, where's this filmed, you know? And
yeah.
Yeah.
Again, just getting to really see your your city represented.
Yeah, and they did film it at the Mall of America a little bit too, so that's where we'll see extras you might recognize. So, so I'm mainly like looking in the background of their shots. I like don't care what they're saying. It's like, yeah, fine. Who's this? Where's my friend?
You just want to see your people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's the main reason I watch and buy it. So
that's understandable. I do still have to watch it. It's on my list. I want to.
And it's always like fun too. Just side note, seeing your friends and things, like seeing a commercial with like Amanda on it or something, and just being like, "Hey, I know her." People are like,
"Oh yeah,
what?" Because they're not looking at the commercials, but
yeah,
it's just like at work or something, and it's just like, "I know her." It's like, "Oh, you do?"
Every time. I love doing that. Like, I get so excited seeing commercials with my friends, or even there's one commercial that I see pretty often with Rod in it. Every single time, does not matter if it's already happened that day. I'll be like, "Oh my god, that's Rod! I know him." Everybody around, they're like, "Yeah, no, we know, like, we get it." And I'm just like, "No, but I know him. Like that's my friend. Like, I'm gonna go like Facebook say hi to him, like because I know him." And then I remember last year, well, not last year. Last year doesn't count as a year. The year before, I was walking into work in the Skyway, and there's like one of these, it's not like a billboard. I mean, it's in the Skyway, but it keeps like flipping back and forth. The screen does between different like ads, and all of a sudden there's an ad that pops up of these two people looking inside of a washing machine or a dryer or something because they're shopping for appliances. It's Kendra.
Oh.
I like stop in the middle of the walkway and of the Skyway, and I'm like taking pictures of it, and people are like, "What are you doing? We're trying to go to work." And I'm like, "Excuse me, I know her. Like, this is my friend. Thank you. Respect the ad."
Right.
But yeah, it's just I love.
Is it like a huge billboard, or what is this?
I mean, no, it's because it's just like a screen that flips back and forth between like 5 different ads or something in the Skyway, but it's big. Like, I mean, it's it takes up like over half the wall that it's on, but it's not like gigantic.
Right.
I don't know how to. But it was so cool, so cool. So yeah. I agree. I love seeing people that I know doing things that they love doing. It's just so great.
Cool.
Sidebar.
No, that's fine. And then Miles Between Us was a film by Andrew Hunt.
Yes.
Rachel mentioned working with him on a film, which I hope to see soon. The other film, not this one. I saw this one, but
right.
I think it was Last Caller. It was called. I don't know what the status of it is. So.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
But I know she spoke of it fondly. Mm-hmm. So
and there's a few Minnesota people in this movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm even just looking at it now, but yeah, like Susan Chambers is in it. Here's a weird moment that I'm experiencing right now as we're recording. So it looks like there is someone who records a Texas voice in that movie. Mm-hmm. A girl that I went to high school with and graduated with, it's her big sister. That I did not know did anything like this. So that's...
Texas voice. Let's see here.
Weird. Yeah. Her name is Emily Troedson.
Oh, yeah. I know her.
You do? What?
She was in one of my short films. Yeah.
What? Okay, well, we need to have a conversation after this. Cause
yes.
my mind's a little blown right now. Anyway, so fun moment.
So she's your friend's younger sister?
Older sister.
Older sister. Okay.
Yeah, I graduated with her younger sister.
Ah. Mm-hmm. See.
My mind's a little blown right now. I'm not going to lie to you. Anyway, but yeah.
Anything can happen. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
In the Film in Minnesota podcast.
Exactly, yeah. Learning every day, you guys. But yeah, so awesome Minnesota-made movie.
And I saw Elizabeth. The main reason I watched this originally was because of Elizabeth, because we had her on and she mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should look for her.
Yes. Did you find her?
I did, and she was right. They did cut out a lot of things, so it was like, okay.
That's a bummer.
But she played kind of a pivotal role in the story, sort of plot, I guess, that helped the main characters. So I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but it was underplayed in the cut, so
right.
Yeah.
I'll have to keep that in mind when I watch it.
Yeah. I think it's on Prime or something, or you can just buy it. Just buy Minnesota Films, okay? Just none of this like, oh, it's $6.99. Oh no, I can't afford that. I'll buy this new iPhone instead.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, I think a lot of these locations just make me think about, like, that's the other thing. I want, if you make a film here, and put it on IMDb or something, please, for the love of God, just put where you filmed it.
Yes.
Don't just put Minnesota, MN or something, Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's just like, okay, that could be anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, start making landmarks of Minnesota. It's like, that'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I would love to know if something's at Bryant Lake Bowl, or if it's at Minnehaha Falls, or all of these specific places that we go to and we love and we know about. And
yeah, and we can make it more common knowledge, like, this is where they filmed Purple Rain. Well, everyone knows that now, or
yes,
things like that. Or this is where the Hennepin Bridge is, and that's where we filmed for Electric Addiction. So it's just like, little things like that. And that's also where they marched for, Black Lives Matter. So it's like,
yes,
that's probably a bigger deal, so
right.
People know that. And I see pictures of, like, the grain belt sign all the time on Instagram. So
yeah. That's here.
Yeah. Locations that have, some positive meanings. So I think that's cool.
Absolutely.
It's like my friend made this film here.
Yes. And I feel like the more we do point out those places, those locations, and like the cool spots that you can really like incorporate into your films, if you're able to, like you said, not only the more is sort of like with Purple Rain, like everyone knows First Ave, but if we can do that to like these smaller locations, maybe we can start to pique that interest again.
Right.
I mean, the incentives, definitely have to be there, but it certainly doesn't hurt.
Yeah, and it also helps, filmmakers know what's a friendly place to film, maybe. And
Right.
as long as you're professional about it, and that's what IMDb, and all that is about, is professional work, hopefully. So.
Right. Yeah.
And it gives a shout out to the place that let you film there. So I think that's a big boost to incentivizing film here. So
Yeah.
is the free ink.
Right.
So that's our 10.
I think it's a good 10.
Yeah.
I do have a couple movies that I have to see though, in that little pile.
Oh, I do too. Now they're very girly, but
Wait a second. I wouldn't say girly.
Drop Dead Gorgeous isn't girly.
Okay, Drop Dead Gorgeous is very girly. I will give you that one, I guess. But it's also really funny.
Sure.
Like, it's stupid, but it's so funny.
And it has Minnesota locations.
I would have to rewatch it, but I think so.
I hope so. It's on this list. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously made here. I can't remember. It's been a hot minute since I've watched it. I think the last time I saw it, I was in high school, to be honest. Which was a long time ago, listeners. Just kidding, but seriously. So yeah, I don't remember the specifics of the locations.
Oh yeah, they have a full list on here of cities and a few places. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, on IMDb at least.
Nice.
So that's good to know. See, more locations to look up. So yeah, Drop Dead Gorgeous has a lot of good locations. So obviously Fargo, we see that in the film, the airport and the way they did parking then.
Yeah, no kidding. Lord.
Yeah, I have to check out Beautiful Girls because of Brian Lake Bull.
I think you'll like it, honestly. I mean, it's more of it's a smaller, budget film and everything, but it's just one of those the guy who got away from his hometown comes back to his hometown, and there's drama and there's this and blah and yeah, I don't know. It's not bad.
Right.
And I mean, Natalie Portman, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, it has a pretty good cast, so.
Yeah. It's not bad at all. I'm trying to find this list that you were just talking about on IMDb.
Oh, it's under details and technical. I think it would be under locations then. Because you'd have to go into more info or something.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's near the bottom-ish, kind of.
Okay, never mind. Ignore me.
You'll find it
Yeah.
eventually.
I'll get there.
I think, all these films, though, like you said, you watch Jingle All the Way all the time, so it's they're timeless. Once you make a film, it's always there. It's not not gonna be there. So it's
Yeah.
as long as you can watch it, it's gonna be a part of our state. So
History.
yeah.
100%. Oh, I just found it. This is exciting. Now I'm going to do this for literally every movie. I'm just going to go and look at all of the specific locations. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. I love it when whoever enters their information for IMDb actually does that.
Yeah.
because normally that's someone's job to do that. So, and it's really cool because it's like then you'll look for it. It makes you watch the film again. So,
Yeah, exactly. Just like when you're looking for your people, now you're also looking for the places.
yeah, people, places, and things. Isn't that what April Ludgate did in the pageant?
Yes.
Speaking
Yes.
of pageants,
Speaking of,
what was that? Was that her talent? What was that?
oh God, I don't remember. Maybe?
Oh no, it was like I like people, places, and things. Just
What is
things
your-
she like. Yeah.
What is your favorite date? Or what would your ideal date be? Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, that's it for our Minnesota films for Film in Minnesota. Sounds a little redundant, but
That's okay. It's what we're here for.
yeah.
It's what we do. Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. Next week, I believe we're going to be chatting about a topic that we actually got a request on. So I'm very excited to dig into that a little bit and chat with you, Alan, about a topic that I know our listeners are wanting to hear about.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
In the
thanks
meantime.
thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.